In this episode of the Locked On NBA Big Board podcast, me and my brother James are going to discuss the top NBA prospects in the Big 12. I'm going to go off James's list. We're going to trade opinions and thoughts because I'm sure he's got some wild opinions that I'm going to disagree with. So stay tuned to hear James's thoughts on his top prospects in the Big 12 Conference. Stay tuned. Big shout out to each and every person that has made the Locked On NBA Big Board podcast your first listen of the day. I'm your host, Rafael Barlowe, the director of scouting for NBA Big Board. And my brother James Barlowe is in the building. He got the 712 jacket. Shout out to our brother Cam. It's his clothing line, 712. And we're just happening to do the Big 12. Now, we didn't plan on matching. I told him to come by the crib and record. And this is what I had picked out. I mean, it's chilly, so I can finally wear long sleeves. But, I mean, of course I can change, but you know what, man, forget it. We're just going to have on the same black and red for the day. And this episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. It is the easiest and the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. And if you go to PrizePicks.com and use the code, and it has to be all lowercase, if you use the code LOCKEDONNBA, you can get a first deposit match up to $100. Now, I want you, the listener, to like, share, subscribe, comment. That is the best way to grow the YouTube channel. All right, James, what's going on, man? It's been a week.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen you since we did an episode since I got back from Madrid. I'm still getting adjusted, about to go out to Paris. I think next week I'm going to watch Tidjane Salaam.
Okay.
And check him out. But we're going to talk about the Big 12. You're not high on the talent or the depth of talent in this conference. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's fair. That's accurate. There was one standout to me, and the other guys are talented, but it's just one particular player that stands out to me, and we'll see how his season goes.
So who stood out to you the most?
Elmarko Jackson, man.
See, that's my guy. That's the guy that I like the most. I did see they had a game against Illinois a couple of days ago, maybe it was yesterday, and he didn't really put up big numbers.
You see, here's my thing, though. I don't know if Kansas might have been the best choice for him.
Because he's on a deep team.
Yeah, it's a deep team.
Just get loose.
Yeah, he might have. I think he might have been better off going to a smaller a lesser known Power 5 to get his stuff. Take the Trae Young route. Where I'm still the man, I'm still a 5-star recruit, but this is maybe a football school here, and I'm the biggest fish in the pond, and I'm not trying to live up to a legacy of Kansas basketball players. But prior to the game, what I've seen from him, I like him a lot. I think he is a lottery pick.
Yeah, I'm high on him. I felt like I probably was higher on him than the consensus. I put him at top 5-ish. I think I've had him at top 5. But he got the burst. He has the burst, speed, athleticism. He can make plays above the rim.
Yes.
He defends. I mean, I think he has everything that you want out of a modern point guard.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so high on him. But I agree. On one hand, he's not going to be able to get loose and get busy at Kansas. He's going to play a very team. And it's going to be a very team system where, everybody's going to share the ball.
Right.
On the other hand, I look at it like, he chose somewhere where he's going to be coached hard. He chose to go somewhere where they're going to hold him accountable, make him play defense. And obviously he wants to win. So he went to a school where they're expected to make a deep NCAA tournament run, compete for the national championship, and he chose that over stats. So, I mean, I can't really knock him from that point, from a scout's point of view or GM point of view, but then it's I want to see him get the keys.
I mean, I get it, being coached hard, that's cool, but I'm not trying to deal with that for a year. To me, I want to be put in the best situation to prepare me for the NBA. And is Kansas going to do that for him? I mean, again, winning is very important, right? But again, are you going to get those pick and roll looks? Are you going to be asked to? Because again, if he is what we think he is, top 5, top 7 pick, you know what I'm saying? You're going to be drafted to a lottery team, right? You're going to be asked to make reads, make plays, and develop. And at Kansas, is he going to get those same opportunities to do so? Or are we going to have him go to school here to fit our system? And it's kind of the same situation that we already see with Elliot Cadeau. He's not starting right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's still preseason.
It's preseason, but I mean, hey.
All right, who's the next prospect that caught your attention?
I like Omaha Beliew.
So you have him as your second best prospect in the Big 12?
Probably right now in the Big 12. Again, it's a little early right now.
James went to Iowa State.
I went to So look, he went to Iowa. I went to Iowa State. Shout out to Iowa State, Hilton Magic.
Hey, that's the coldest city I've ever.
Oh, for sure. There's no trees.
Yeah,
that wind just swirls around in the middle.
I felt like I was the coldest.
Yeah. Shout out to the women's basketball too, Coach Phil. I appreciate what you did for me when I was out there. But yeah, Omaha Beliew. His name is Omaha. We're from Omaha.
Right. He was born in Omaha.
He was born in Omaha. Yeah. He's playing at Iowa State. I mean, those are green, flags for me right now. But in all seriousness, though, you like his motor, right?
Yep.
And he's not just a motor guy. Like, you see some skills there. He'll shoot the jump shot. He'll put the ball on the ground. To me, he looks like the ultimate connector piece that you would like to find late in the first round. And again, ultimately, we'll see how his production holds up at Iowa State. They let you get loose out there at Iowa State. But I like him a lot. I think he is a late first round pick right now. Things could change. I don't know about him having ridiculous upside, but that's to me not what this draft is about. So he just looks like the ultimate connecting piece to me. Plays hard, make jump shots, should be able to attack, close out. He's a solid player, and going to Iowa State. And his name's Omaha.
For me, I just think he'll need to show a little bit of consistency playing the wing. I think. You
don't think he's a 4? I think he's a 4.
I mean, I think he's a 4, but I think to help boost his draft stock, if he could show that he can be like that wing 4 that can make some plays out on the perimeter, knock down shots. If he's that 4 that handles the ball, I mean, he can, but I'm just saying, if he can show they can handle the ball some, and maybe someone sees him as this hybrid 3-4 instead of just a natural 4, I think that will help him out. But I do think he's a little bit undersized.
Yeah.
At the 4. So that's what I'm saying. If he's going to be undersized 4, then maybe show a little more wing skills, which I think he has it. But I just think his draft stock is going to depend on how much of that he shows, and then also how well he shoots the ball.
Yeah, I mean, if he can shoot the ball at a high clip, you can get away with playing the 4 with having minimal wing skills.
So you have him as your second best guy. You think he's a late first round pick.
Yes.
So how many guys do you think are first rounders in the Big 12?
I think right now, from what I've seen,
your list is way off from mine already.
That's fine. This is a strange draft. So the first round, maybe it could be, to me, it could be 15 through 45 could be at the same level. So getting a first round grade ultimately doesn't mean much in the grand scheme of things, just because a lot of guys are even. It's just that kind of class. So I think I think they might have 4 from what I've seen so far. It's early. So I got Elmarko, I got Omaha, I think JaKobe Walter will get a first round grade. And if I watched your boy Missi, and I'm kind of on the fence on him right now, but I see it. And if there's ever a draft for someone like him to be selected in the first round, it's this draft.
All right, when we return, we're going to talk about the 2 Baylor guys that I think they could both be lottery picks. Now, James, if you're watching on YouTube, James made a face so he disagrees. But I'm going to explain why I think the 2 Baylor guys could be lottery picks and why I'm so high on them. Stay tuned. All All right, before we get into the second segment where I'm going to talk about the two Baylor guys, I want to talk to you about none other than PrizePicks, the largest independently owned daily fantasy sports platform in North America. James is a huge PrizePicks guy. He put me on it, and it's addicted. I can see how you can get addicted to it. All you have to do is pick 2 to 6 players, and basically you're just predicting or projecting if they are going to score more or less than their projections. All right, so tell us about your latest PrizePicks entry.
Look, I'm just gonna shout out 2 guys. Asor Thompson, rebounds, assists. Jalen Duren, points, rebounds, assists. That's all I gotta say.
So the Pistons guys have got you some money.
Man, look, the Pistons guys come through.
And like, for example, when the players that you pick and you get it right and they come through, you can win up to 25 times your money. Again, 25 times your money. All you have to do is go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA. It's got to be lowercase. But if you use the promo code LockedOnNBA, you can get a first deposit match up to $100. Again, PrizePicks.com, LockedOnNBA. You can get a first deposit match up to $100. All right, second segment. We left off talking about a couple Baylor players. JaKobe Walter, a guy that is from the Dallas area, so I've had a chance to watch him play. There's some people that think he could be as a mid-lottery. Some people are really high on him. I think that he could be a late lottery pick. I see the scoring upside, but I like his passing as like a secondary playmaker. What are your thoughts on JaKobe Walter?
Digging deep into it, I watched his Trae Young tape when he played AAU ball the last summer in 2022.
For Team Trae Young.
Yes, for Team Trae Young. He played with Dink Pate. I wasn't overly impressed with his shooting. Like, I see the athleticism, I see the range, I see the talent, but ultimately I was just kind of like disappointed with his efficiency. I did see some playmaking, but at times I did see a lot of tunnel vision. It'll be interesting to see how it works for him at Baylor, because, Keontae was the last 5-star guy that they let get loose. So it'll be interesting to see how it works for him.
Some people say they held Keontae back.
That's fair too.
Because he looks a lot. I think he's built for the pro game, but he looks a lot better as a professional than he did at Baylor. Now, he's lost some weight and he's not dealing with the ankle injury.
Yeah.
But it just depends on who you ask. Some people feel like they held him back a little bit.
That's fair. But like, I just, looking at his splits, he didn't shoot well from the 3-point line. He shot 36% from the field. And but he did like overcome that because he was a foul merchant, as some people would say. So you like that aggressiveness. I understand jump shots come and go, streaky. I get that. And again, there's nothing mechanically wrong with his technique. I just would have liked to have seen better efficiency from him. But again, you'll live with the free throw attempts. I think he shot 28% from the 3-point line. So it's like I'm questioning his shooting ability.
So one of the things that I have in my notes was I thought he was a good shooter. I had some concerns about the athleticism.
You didn't think he was athletic enough?
I thought he was a good athlete. I didn't think he was like a great athlete. So for me, I have that he is, I put that I didn't think he was like an explosive vertical athlete. And I didn't think that he had like the ideal first step to get by defenders whenever he wanted to. I did have some concerns about his shot selection, but I liked his positional size. But to me, I didn't have too many concerns with him because when I look at his stats at Link, he shot like 45% from the floor at Link. And the 3-point shooting wasn't bad. It was like 38% from 3 on 135 attempts. So I thought that he was a better shooter than the numbers indicated in his last season at AAU. But I think that he's good. I mean, I have him at good positional size for a wing. I like his frame, broad shoulders. I think that his court vision and feel is advanced for a 6'5" wing, because I think in today's NBA, with a guy like him that at his size, he can be like a secondary ball handler, or he can be the guy that can run secondary pick and rolls. So I like that, but I thought that, I mean, he's a good shooter. I think that he has the offensive creativity to be able to get his own shot off the dribble. A guy that late in the shot clock can go get you a bucket, and that's something that I really value. He does get to the foul line. I think he has upside to be a 3-level scorer. That's why I'm high on him. And also, something that stood out to me was that when you usually have a guy that can score like he does, that is usually paired with bad decision making.
That's true.
With Walter, even though I did say that the shot selection is a little bit of a concern, but he had a positive assist to turnover ratio, and he can shoot on the move. That is something that I value, and that's why I like him.
You know, him having a positive assist to turnover ratio is a very, very positive thing to have at this age. Because a lot of the guys that we've been looking at, especially the ball handlers, they don't have that right now. And it's, again, you're the man, you're the most talented kid on the team, most talented kid on the floor. Like, you're going to take some tough shots, you're going to make some tough decisions. But, like, for him to have that, I will give him props for that. I see the talent, I didn't see the deficiency. But, again, if you sit here and say he shot better at length, and he was more efficient at length, and maybe we just kind of meet halfway there. And again, guys get better.
Yep.
So it's like I see the upside there from him. But, the thing is, to me, with shooting is that, like, man, it's hard to make it as a wing if you can't shoot. And then sometimes that's what it just boils down to. So,
I mean, Asar Thompson can't shoot. He's making it.
And you know what? He's making it, and it's early, and we'll see how long that they'll be able to play him 35 minutes a game with him not being able to shoot. But maybe it changes when Bojan, wiggleless Bogdanović gets there. But, I mean, is JaKobe Walter that kind of Swiss Army knife Asar Thompson is? I know you didn't mean to make this an Asar Thompson comparison, but, like, those guys find a way. I don't know if that's who he is, though.
Yeah. I mean, I think Walter has a role as like a playmaking wing / secondary ball handler that can knock down open shots, but he can create his own shots. All right, Yves Missi, I'm high on him. I'm really high on him. And you're not seeing the vision right now.
I'm not. It's cloudy.
All right, so tell me your thoughts on.
Look, man, Yves Missi, he looks like he's still learning how to play basketball. And I know a lot of bigs at this age, bigs develop late. I get it. He'll make a play. He had a couple plays at Prolific Prep. He caught the ball, drove, spun right, sweet left hand hook. And then he'll have a play where he just slapped both of his hands together and slapped his chest because he couldn't catch the ball. So, like, I don't know if his hands are the best right now. Mm-hmm. And if you're big and you can't catch, good luck. And maybe that's why Aiden Holloway wasn't giving him the ball like that. I don't know. Because, hey, man, as a rec league point guard, man, if my big can't catch me, I might have to eat some of those pocket passes. But I see the talent, right? But again, it looks like he's still trying to put a lot of it together. And again, if there's ever a draft for you to swing for the fences on a guy like that, it's this draft. I'm just saying he's not my 5th best big or even 6th best big in this draft right now.
All right, when we return, I'm going to share my thoughts on Mr. Missi and why I think he is worth a lottery pick. But before we get into that, let's talk about none other than FanDuel. Because right now, the NFL season is in full swing, so is the NBA. And if you are a new customer, if you are a new FanDuel customer, you can get $150 in bonus bets with any $5 money line bet. I had to say it slow so you can hear me. $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 money line bet That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there is no better time to do it right now. There's no better time to get into the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting, which includes like point spreads, player props, overs, unders, and more. So visit fanduel.com/lockedon and kick off the NBA season and the NFL season, because FanDuel is the official partner of the NFL and Locked On. All right, this is something that I should have mentioned earlier. But the Locked On NBA season preview is here. It is 6 episodes with all 30 of our Locked On NBA team shows. So if you're not familiar with Locked On, which I'm pretty sure you are, every single team has a Locked On channel, and you are getting whatever your team is. You're getting the best information on your team, not only after every game, 5 days a week during basketball season. So you're getting updated from your team. So all 30 Locked On hosts did an NBA season preview. It is available now, from teams that are contending to the tankers. Locked On goes in depth with the biggest storylines heading into the season. So you can catch all 6 episodes of the Locked On NBA Ultimate NBA Season Preview on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. All right, the last segment, got a couple more guys that we want to talk about, but I want to finish talking about Yves Missi. I think he's a lottery pick. I love the NBA. All right, I'm going to tell you why.
Tell me why. Please tell me.
NBA positional size.
Yes.
Check.
Okay.
He's long and athletic. Check.
Yeah.
I see upside of him being a big that can face up and attack.
Okay.
So he looked comfortable at the elbow, putting the ball on the ground, getting to the rim and attacking. He's agile and coordinated. A little raw, but I think he's going to be an effective scorer as a rim roller and as a finisher. I like the fact that when he's around the basket and he can dunk it, he's trying to bang. He's trying to rip the rim off. He can run the floor. He shows some flashes of promising footwork. I think that's something that could be worked on. I think that he has the motor to where, at the very minimum, I think he could be like your big that, finishes with dump-offs, offensive rebounds, has great timing on tip dunks. Okay. He gets a lot of tip dunks, and I think he's going to be a vertical lob threat. Now, I get your concern. He's a little raw.
He's a lot of raw.
He has no shooting range. His feel for the game is still a ways away. He does fall on the floor a lot. But you know what? I'm not going to say that. That may come off wrong, and I don't want to get aggregated. But Joel Embiid does that.
Nah, that's he does that on purpose.
Hey, man, Embiid...
He does that on purpose.
Hey, man, you too big to be 280 pounds, man. That dude be falling all over the floor.
He does that on purpose.
I've heard that, they teach him how to fall so he don't get hurt.
I'm not buying that.
But man, Embiid be falling on the ground.
There was a play, was that Thursday? It was a steal, and he immediately, took a wrestling dive.
I don't like that.
I don't like that either. But I really like Embiid.
I like Embiid. Adem Bona was a guy from UCLA that I felt like he used to fall on the floor a lot too. And he got a little bit better, but I will say Missi does fall on the floor. He does have a tendency to avoid contact, which is something that I think can be fixed. And the non-dunk finishes.
See, and that was my biggest concern, because if he didn't have a clear path to banging, it was like he struggled to find, he didn't know where the shooting angles were. And again, I get it. It looks like he just started playing basketball recently, and it's going to take time. But that's a big, big risk. And then it's okay, you have inside information about him playing well at Baylor. But it's just going to be interesting to see how they develop him there. Are they going to be patient with him, thinking that, hey, we might, if we can, hold him off for this year, he can be really good next year, or are they going to let him play right away through all his mistakes and learn on the fly?
I think he's going to be a lottery pick this year. I think that with Baylor's guards that are going to get it up. I think he's going to get a lot of offensive rebounds. I think he's going to get tip dunks. I think teams are going to be impressed by his size, his motor, his energy. And if he just shows a little bit of flashes of the footwork. Now, the touch is something I think that's a work in progress, or that's an uphill battle. But I just think if he just shows flashes on top of like his athleticism, his size, his motor, and the fact that there's upside there. Like, I could see him being someone that maybe averages 8 and 8, and he's blocking shots, and Baylor's defense is supposed to be good this year. It has some good plays here and there. But then you look at the upside. It's all right. If he's a double-double threat by being raw, and if he can just add this, I think somebody's going to take a shot at him as a lottery pick.
I have a name for you. You don't have to answer right now. What's the difference between him and Ike Anigbogu from UCLA with Lonzo Ball? The Lonzo Ball era.
Yeah, I
apologize if I didn't say your name correctly.
I know you're talking about.
You know who I'm talking about.
He was a first round pick.
He was a first round pick, and it was pure upside / they made it super easy for him at UCLA because he played with
Lonzo,
TJ Leaf. He played with other NBA players. Yeah. And so yes, please, if you don't have if that puts you on the spot, I don't think he was as.
I think he was just like a raw athlete. I don't think he was as agile and coordinated. I don't think he had the upside. I think Missi could, and I don't want to just make this like an all African comparison, but I think Missi could surprise people like Onyeka Okongwu did his freshman year at USC.
Onyeka looked like he had been playing ball for a while.
Right. But people didn't, I think, was he like the 6th pick?
That's fair.
Yeah. So,
but even then, you still see now he still has trouble like staying on the floor due to just like his feel for the game as far as on defense. Like, he's a fouling machine.
Yeah,
still kind of raw.
But I think his role now, because he knows he's coming in limited minutes, is just go out and just.
Yeah, that's true. Make it happen.
Go out and just play hard. He got his money, but he's
not mad at him.
I would like to see him in another situation. All right, so wrapping up, there's one more prospect that you have on your list of players that you think could, be draftable in 2024.
Yes. Milan Momcilovic.
Another Iowa State guy.
I mean, hey, shout out to Iowa State. But yeah, there's lots of like him. He's got good size. He's already filled out. Big, strong frame. Posts up. He can pass. He stretches the floor. He shoots jumpers. But he is a very, very average athlete. And with him being a very, very average athlete at that size, defense is going to be an issue, especially at the NBA, because you have to be able to defend in space. And also just like he's just not the most efficient big right now. A lot largely to do with his him being a below the rim athlete. Mm-hmm. But there is a lot to like there from him. That's probably second big or third big.
You think he's? I don't think he's a big. To me, he's a pick and pop 4.
Okay, so again,
that can post up, but I don't think he's gonna.
But it's gonna have to work both ways. Is he gonna be able to guard 4s in the NBA in space? So to me, if you can't defend that 4, then you're automatically a 5.
Oh, he's not a 5
on defense.
He's not a 5.
All right. We'll see if them feet can move. I
got him as an average athlete, but he's not a 5. He's a pick and pop 4. I mean, he's a guy that's gonna, in my opinion, he's gonna space the floor. He can attack some closeouts.
Okay.
Which, I don't know he's gonna be able to attack wings on closeouts, but he's shown that he can put the ball on the floor a little bit. He can score in the low post. I think he can take smaller players there, but I don't think that's going to be his bread and butter. I think his bread and butter is going to be as a shooter because he can shoot on the move. He can, like I said, pick and pop. He does have a soft touch around the rim, but I see him as like a shooter / connective tissue because he can't pass. Had a positive assist to turnover ratio when I watched him play. But he does little things like he finds cutters, he passes the ball ahead in transition. He just makes really good decisions. So I think he's a connective tissue that can knock down open shots.
Okay, let's assume him and Omaha Beliew start. Who's guarding fives? In college, him or Omaha Beliew?
Beliew.
I disagree. I just feel like, again, I don't want to make the complexion comparison, but, you look at today's Dario Saric is a backup 5 who does all those things that you said Momcilovic does. Make open threes, can attack and close out, can post up smaller guys. But today, you're not asking Dario Saric to go out there and defend a starting 4.
I don't think
I know, but hold on. He's a backup because, whatever, age and all that other stuff. But as a second unit guy, he's defending 5s.
Okay, if he's Dario Saric,
you'll take that.
And you get him in the second round,
hey,
that's a win.
I'm not saying it's not a win. I'm just saying I think he's a backup 5 because of his defensive, what I think will be his defensive shortcomings. If he has a Dario Saric career, man, shout out to Iowa State. We got another one.
He's 6'8".
So is Dario Saric.
You think Saric is 6'8"?
Man, Dario Saric is Saric is not that. He's not that tall. As we try to search,
6'10".
Man, is that a Google 6'10" or is that an NBA.com 6'10"?
6'10" with a 6'10" wingspan.
All right, so Momcilovic is 6'8". Hey man,
which means he could be 6'7".
We'll see, man.
So you think he's a 5?
I think he's going to defend 5. I think that's where his advantage is going to be. Get him in some space. Get him defending lesser athletes in the second unit. That's all. You can play the 4 offense. You can do whatever you want on offense, but who do you guard is what ultimately determines what position you play.
I agree. Second round pick, or you think he's a 2-year guy or longer?
Second round pick or 2-year guy.
Or do you think he's a one and done, or do you think he's a multi-year guy?
I think he's a multi-year guy. That's probably fair. Even in this draft, I think he's a multi-year guy. But you'll take that.
Yep. Well, that wraps up this episode of the Locked On NBA Big Board podcast. Once again, it's Rafael Barlowe and my brother James. We are out.